Hello, hello. I believe we are live for ZenJen Friday Live. Thank you for joining me. It's been a doozy of a week, you guys. So I thought it would be really relevant for us to cover the cosmic weather report. This is what I call any kind of update, spirit-led or otherwise, that is, it's tapping into the energies and maybe the frequencies and sometimes readings, like as in the Schumann resonance. That was something that was very prevalently felt by a lot of our collective this week. And I thought that would be really pertinent for our interconnected collective to tap in with all of these different, like from all these different sources, right? These sources, whenever they are brought together in a cohesive fashion, it promotes more understanding. It promotes more emphasis and clarity for what it is that we're experiencing as individuals and as the greater collective as a whole. You see, that's something that I've always done. I've always tapped into a vast array of sources, a variety of different perspectives, in order to gain the greatest insight, because the cohesion together of what resonates and letting fall away what doesn't, that is where I get my greatest insights. That is how I do my spirit-led work with my clients and, for my own personal self-development. It's really essential. For me personally, and I know that a lot of people will resonate with one philosophy, or they will ascribe to one type of faith, one different avenue of exploration, right? And that's just never been my bag, y'all. It's always been something of a cohesive, hybridized understanding of everything at play. Almost always, you are giving 50% of the truth and you are giving 50% of the truth. And it's my job to take your 50% and your 50% and congeal them together into what the actual truth is. And that is like a profound understanding of what it is I do in my spirit-led work. We want our perspective to be like the winning one, right? And so that is the incentive for each person to only deliver 50% of the truth, because no one is right 100% of the time. We're just positing our own theories in what energies are at play that are affecting the collective, affecting us. I mean, this is just another example of how it is I like to roll, you guys. ZenJen don't do it just one avenue. It has to be a collective perspective, because otherwise it's not objective. Did I just come up with that? I am a playwright and a poet at heart. I love the sound of the spoken word. Alliteration and rhyme, it lights me up. It gives me soul tingles every time. What have we got going on over here? What have we got going on? Isn't technology an interesting facet of daily human avatar life, you guys? And I would love it if any of you feel called to join us over in the Interconnected Collective. This is a group that I fashioned of my own vision for all of the spirit-led light workers that I have personally worked with, and how I have found those semblances, those similarities, those common threads of truth and resonancy between multiple different sub-niches of spirit-led work. This is something that's very important to me. It's important because it's a vital missing ingredient in our collective perspective. We get so dragged down into this myopic point of view that we think is correct because it's something we discovered, right, about ourselves and about our life, and it made perfect sense. And any other perspective that we see out in the world that it might contradict our perspective in some way, shape, or form, we automatically revert back to that duality in our understanding of what is real and what is truth. We try to shut that down because we know this truth is real for us. And what is really important, and I think it's vital in the ascension of the human consciousness on planet Earth, what's really vital and essential is to connect with the work of others, especially when it's not something that you yourself have entertained or are necessarily in alignment with. Because something that I have realized on my spiritual journey of awakening to who it is that I am is that no one can take your truth from you, even if they are stating something that is contrary to what that truth is. And any kind of triggered reaction against someone else and their expression, whether it's an expression that's slandering you or slandering what you believe, any reaction to that is an indication that somewhere deep inside of you, you still believe something that they're saying. Like whether it's something they're saying about God or about, reality, or maybe it's something they're saying about you. Like it's something that you are reacting against within yourself. Any kind of avoidance of that is indicative of some deeper learning that can be had there. So I have taken it upon myself to bring together multiple different spirit-led perspectives, all housed in one landscape of expression. And another important value to this group that I want to highlight, we actually can promote in this group. We can promote our spirit-led services. And I'm talking dropping links, and I'm talking dropping calls to action, all that stuff that you have been conditioned against doing in all those other Facebook groups. I want you to strike that down, and I want you to put this group up at the top of your priority list whenever you are running your organic marketing campaign for your spirit-led work, for your offerings, for your services. I want you to bring us up to the creme de la creme of where it is you are promoting and advertising your work in the social media virtual landscape. We're revolutionizing what Facebook group communities are all about. I know there's a lot of toxicity out there. I know because I've lived it. I've been a virtual assistant for the last 8 years to multiple different spirit-led leaders from multiple different sub-niches. And here is a common denominator that I can tell you about. Whether you're talking about life coaching, or you're talking about psychic readings, or you're talking about energetic artwork, or you're talking about being a virtual nomad influencer, it don't matter. There is this energy of this one-man show or one-woman show that is really being pushed and promoted in these Facebook groups that, if you're not here to rah cheer me on the sidelines and not really have any expression of your own, if you're not here to be a unit of encouragement for me, because this is not realizing that all of these names, all of these profiles, they are representative of real human beings. Here in this group, we are cultivating a community, and what we're doing with respect to that community is we are opening up the space, the playing field for really anyone who feels called to share what it is that they are here to bring in terms of the divine service that they are showing up for others with their spirit-led work. It's opening that up for them. There is this scarcity mindset, this ascription to lack that has been really prevalent on planet Earth for a really long time with respect to resources, right? Like water, food, energy sources, like a whole bunch of people who have a very, very little, if any. There's been a whole lot of outcry about how we fix this, right? The way in which I have downloaded using my own extrasensory perception and my own deep dives into the collective consciousness, where I have dabbled for quite some time now, is that we don't have that scarcity that we believe that we have. We believe we have it, and so we have it. But whenever we open up that stage and we realize that we don't need to share that spotlight, there's not a finite amount of space of that prime real estate. And this is a hard concept to wrap your mind around. It's a shift in paradigm, which we'll be getting into in the Cosmic Weather Report here in just a moment. It's a fascinating phenomena that happens whenever we start merging with this new paradigm shift, that the more light that we allow into our shared space, the larger that spotlight grows for all of us to share. Human beings, human avatars, we are merely having this human experience. We are embodiments of infinite spirit. And that infinite spirit emits this beautiful light. Hence the term light work. We are here to do light work. That is what it is that we came here for, right? And whenever we gather and pool that light together, that spotlight by which we can all benefit from, it grows exponentially so. Okay. And so that dispels those beliefs and those scarcity mindsets of lack that are they're old, they're played out, and they're tired from the old paradigm. It's important for us to remember what it is we came here to do, because it's easy to get bogged down in the details, right? It's easy to become really, really disenchanted with all of what it is that you came here for whenever there's X, Y, and Z that you've got to take care of, and you have this finite amount of time, energy, resources to take care of it with. When in those moments, and there have been a lot of those moments this week, let me tell you, with the Schumann resonance has been off the charts, you guys, like off the charts. I have never really followed the Schumann resonance as closely as I have this week, but whenever I look at the Schumann resonance and I see what these readings represent are the lower frequencies from the electromagnetic field of planet Earth, and they are tracked in real time. Like I said, I gather resources, I gather insights and perspectives from, multiple different avenues, and I'm open to receive them all, and I take what resonates, and then that which doesn't, there's no problem with it, because that's someone else's perspective. It doesn't harm me in any way. I mean, I've heard everything from the U.S. government scrambles a lot of what comes through there, and if you look at the readings from the Russia chart, that you actually see faces of entities in these lower density realms. I found that interesting. I'm not sure if I believe it necessarily, but it was certainly an interesting perspective that, ignited my intrigue even further. It's weird that what I noticed in this past month, that there was this spot, I believe it was on the 7th of April, that there was this like blacked out spot, and it's like a literal blackout, right? And it looks like the whole machine went kaput. It looks like it all just like shut down a minute. And people are saying this means something. And I'm like, yeah, but what? What does it mean? Like, why is it shutting down? Right? And then if you look 10 days later on the 17th of this month, you'll see it's like a whited out spot. I'm like, what? What is going on here? Like, what is the difference between these two? Is it that, whenever it gets like so blindingly bright white, this is like a heightened frequency of the lower frequencies, or is it going like so low that it's like off the charts and it's not readable? Was that what the blackout spot was on that Schumann resonance? Was it actually a whited out spot that it got so intense that it shut the machine down? It's funny, the days that I receive a download to reach out to someone that I haven't spoken to in months, these synchronicities of when it is we choose to connect and when it is we choose to merge or integrate our perspective with that of someone else. I mean, I receive these downloads in real time. That's why it's very difficult for me to follow a protocol. It's taken some time for me to establish those in my own business, simply because I am kind of a fly by my seat of my pants kind of a gal. And, because that's where a lot of my magic happens. Whenever I get this download that I'm supposed to reach out to this person, and I'm supposed to, share something, or I'm supposed to ask them about something, it always pans out exactly, not exactly how I thought it would necessarily, but it pans out in a discernible and a meaningful way that it makes sense when it all comes out in the wash. Like, oh, okay. Thank you, Spirit. I appreciate you keeping me on the right track. This is about keeping in touch with our sacral response. And for us generators, if you follow human design, that's a really, really vital aspect to us finding that groove that's going to drive our success in what it is we aim to do. That sacral response is powerful in us generators. So let's see. I know you said you have so much more content planned out. I'm so proud of you. That is on my list for this weekend, is planning content. A lot of the clients that I've worked with in the past, whether it was in an employer-employee relationship kind of a dynamic, or if it was more in a consultative where I was coaching someone to give them knowledge and insight about, my background and what I know in order to lift them up in their spirit-led work in the virtual landscape. It's because a lot of spiritual providers and practitioners, I found a lot of them are allergic to technology. Has that been something that you've noticed about yourself or someone you know? It's almost like the more in touch they are with the frequencies of planet Earth and of the energetic exchange between individuals as like an empath or an intuitive, like the more tapped in they are to those frequencies, the less able to be tapped into these frequencies of the virtual landscape. That it's not always the case. I mean, and everything is learnable. It becomes like autopilot after you've learned a new skill, but it's like from the get-go, that natural inclination to, like, my son, he's very much, a child of his generation. He's 7, but he has merged so much with this world of technology, like in this way that is not, like, I'm not able to do what he does, and he's 7 years old, It's like he shows me new stuff all the time. And it's but it's just a different avenue of exploration, and it's a different wiring for our brain waves, I feel. Let me know if this speaks to you.